What's up, fam? Brenton here. Welcome back to Forum. Today we are working on the last kick in the kicking series. We have side kicks. Look like this. Cool, so let's break that down piece by piece here. Side kicks are a little bit more challenging, and so when we're first starting out, or in fact if we've been here a while, we want to make sure that we're working towards the best form we can manage, and that we're also being safe the whole time. That starts with a good setup, understanding how to get into it and making sure you take your time, especially if you're just learning it. The setup looks like this. Whatever leg's going to be kicking, that side is going to be facing the bag. So here, the way I'm set up currently is set up for a right side kick. The right side of my body is facing that bag, and you'll notice that I'm just outside of one arm's length away. It's pretty easy to get from your fight guard into that position just by swinging around and now have that perfect distance. A lot of the times people get stuck a little bit too close and they end up doing one of these, and we don't want that. So make sure you have that proper distance. You're set up with whatever side facing the bag. Alright, let's break it down step by step. First things first, step one, that distance. We already talked about it. Step number two, we're going to bring our kicking leg's knee up and across our body, winding up like a baseball pitcher would. From here, as we drive out, we're going to keep our eyes on the prize, and we're going to make contact with the heel. When we use the heel there, we're making sure we're not injuring our foot by hitting the ball and potentially twisting it. Always hit with that heel first. To get that power as we're coming out and over, it comes from a pivot on that bottom foot. This heel is also facing the bag, so I like to think about it as getting two heels to the bag. You can see here when I'm set up, striking with my lead heel and pivoting so that my standing heel is facing that bag. Alright, so at the end of that last clip, we talked about how we pivot on that standing foot. That can be a little bit more challenging, especially if you don't have much workout experience previously. So I want to give you another option to make sure you're not risking twisting your knee at all, and that's kind of setting up already pivoted. So when we go to our side distance here, I'm just going to have my standing leg turned so that heel's already pretty much facing the bag. From here, follow the same steps we already talked about. Knee comes up, drive with the heel, and make sure that you're flexing your foot in this position, toes pointing down as well. But that's going to help you. In time, we want to be able to drive off of that foot and pivot on the bottom foot. If that's still something that's giving you pause, then make sure that your knee's protected, you're set up before you start to bring the knee and throw the kick. Cool, a couple final tips here, help you troubleshoot or maybe help you level up here and there. Some of the things we often notice when people are new to side kicks, the first thing is they don't bring their knee up into that chambered position first. They just kind of try to throw their leg out. You're never going to get the benefits, you're never going to learn how to generate power if that knee doesn't come up first. So pause here for a second, then throw that kick while you're still getting used to this and practicing. Another thing that we often notice is that when people do get the hang of that, they start to do this and look away. Don't know how many times, myself included, I've missed the bag because I'm not looking at my target. So that also is risking injury. Make sure that you're looking back over that shoulder, always making eye contact with the bag even before your foot makes contact. Last couple points here about how to get into that pivot. If we're going for a right side kick out of our fight guard, we want to think about stepping out and pivoting onto that bottom foot. That's going to allow us to come through with a lot of speed and power. So getting set up when you first start, just standing and going from there is great. In time, look for ways to make that pivot a little bit more fluid in that motion. Final piece here is thinking about looking back over your shoulder a little bit more than just straight to the side. If your toes are pointing up when you're making contact, your hips are probably a little bit too much opened up. Think about it more as bringing that hip over so your toes are pointing down. You're going to feel that the top of your leg and your glute is going to be feeling like it's facing the bag a little bit more. That's also going to help with height, especially if you're like me and the hip flexibility is something you still need to work on. In time, you'll be able to get that kick higher and higher, but you can see as of right now, I'm still right about mid-height because of the hip limitations. So just work with what you have and where you're at, making sure that you're protecting your joints by pivoting correctly, angling the foot down, and always keeping your eyes on the bag. Alright guys, thanks for watching Forum. We'll see you in class.